What's going on, travelers? Thanks for tuning into the 28th episode of The Resonance, a weekly Genshin Impact podcast. I'm your host, Dalton, and with me, as always, is Pharaoh.
Yo, what's up?
How are you this week? You have the notes now, not like our bonus episode that we did a couple days ago.
Yes.
I didn't lock you out, so there's no pop quiz today.
Yeah. I'm good on that. I can access everything. But yeah, no, I'm good. I am always thrown now whenever because my go-to, like I always say the yo, what's up? And ever since, I forgot who it was that commented on that.
It was Neku.
Oh, okay, it was Neku, because yeah, I said I'm a Shneznian puppet that you're controlling.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, been playing some Genshin. I'm actually lagging behind in the act a little bit, but luckily I don't care about spoilers, so I've done 80% of Act 4 from what my PlayStation tells me.
Okay.
So, yeah, this should be...
You're not far off.
Yeah, this should be... I couldn't imagine anything too crazy happening at the end anyways. So, but yeah. But I finished off The Abyss, so all my time for that yesterday went to The Abyss.
How did you do?
Oh, I cleared it all.
You 36 starred it?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I still can't 36 star it.
It's, some are certainly harder than others. There's been a few where I've just been like, no thank you, it's not worth it for the last star. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's not too difficult now. You should be pretty much ready to go now with your...
It's the artifacts kill me. It's
the artifacts
every time. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Once you get that sweet 2-team setup where you just have an OP team, 2 OP teams, I guess, in total, then you're pretty much set. You can kind of crush whatever.
Yeah, at this point, I told myself I'm not building any more characters unless it's a Dendro applicator for Sino, and that's it. And everybody else is... I have my 2 teams. I have my Ito team. I have my Sino team. They do very well in the Abyss. But they all have, with the exception of Sino, everybody has honestly, half decent to bad artifacts, and it just doesn't fly in the Abyss. So
yeah, exactly. You do need to be more on point with your artifacts if you want to easily crush the later stages.
Yeah. So that's just kind of my whole deal right now is I need to start farming artifacts for everybody.
Yeah,
so I'm trying to start
is
with
the worst too.
Yeah,
it's such a grind.
I'm trying to start with, I think it's... What is it? I'm doing Thundering Fury still because I can use Thundering Fury or I think it's Thunder Soother in that one. And so I can use either of those pieces. So either of those pieces help. And then I'm just turning into glad pieces in the strong box because if I don't need any of those bad pieces, I can work on another character through the strong box. So... My problem right now is resin. I've been tempted at this point to just spend primos on resin. I haven't because I'm smart, but I just the resin drought right now is just terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I'm with you 100% on that. It is such a time consumer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not even it's time consuming. It's just waiting for the resin is honestly the hardest part.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. It kind of also depends. Well, yeah, I would say for most people, yes. I have such a huge depot of fragile resin that I don't even know the last time I ran out whenever I needed it.
Okay, that's half my problem is that I would build a character, get him to 90, weapon to 90, talents up, and then all right, time to artifact farm, and I'd start artifact farming, but by the time I did that, it was oh, new character, and I was just ooh, I like that character, level them up, get them to 90, did it, and it was just a constant rotation of that, so I just blew through all the resin.
Yeah, I feel I have 60 fragile resin.
That's wild.
Yeah, waiting in the wings, so I don't think I'll ever have an issue with that again.
Wow.
But I do remember it at the beginning, waiting for resin was always a pain.
All right. Let's get into the review reading. We're going to do one because it's a super long one, and we're kind of cutting it close with the show. So, title of this review is Great Show, Lot of Talking Crap. I can't disagree with that. It It is a 5-star review. Their name is just a bunch of letters, but they'll know when they listen.
Mm-hmm.
First off, I love the show, guys. I think you're doing really well, and I really enjoy the breakdowns and thoughts. It's a great way to review my feelings on the updates, and I'll definitely be joining the Discord. However, you're wrong about Dea. She's absolutely a pushover, but she is not obsessed with Mora. Consider the fact that she takes a lot of convincing to switch sides for Dunyazad. It's not immediate, and the Mora isn't that attractive to her at first. Furthermore, she sold her greatsword to fund the Sabzeruz festival. Would a cold-hearted Mora-obsessed mercenary do that? Of course not. I believe you have overlooked.
I have thoughts. I want to mention that afterwards, so just let me know. Yeah.
I believe you have overlooked the one common factor in all of her weird behavior, Dunyazad. She switches sides to give Dunyazad more freedom while still protecting her. She sells her sword to fund the festival that Dunyazad cares about. She's not obsessed with Mora. She's a simp. Dea is just super gay for Dunyazad, and I'm offended that y'all missed that, especially with Ningguang Beidou and Yaimiko Raiden being pretty in your face throughout the game. Anyways, great show. Could be gayer.
I love it.
I love that ending.
So a couple things. First of all, I don't see Dea like being gay for Dunyazad. Like I don't pick up on that. Maybe my gaydar's off. I'm not sure. But
it's not. I don't
it's
think
not
that
ringing for me
either.
on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that either. It's not like it's Yaimiko or even like Lisa Jean or Kaya DeLuke. It's not like that. It's that's something
Kaya
DeLuke.
No, that's not a thing. They're like brothers. That's the problem. That's the thing with them.
No,
they are literally like, I mean, like they grew up together like brothers, so they have like a love-hate relationship.
So you're saying that they're stepbrothers?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes and no. They're not. He's an adopted brother, so like, there's.
I'm just saying the sexual tensions are high between them. And
I don't think so. I don't think. But I don't know.
Get my point.
The only one that I see here, like Lisa Jean, yes. Yaimiko, Raiden, yes. Oh, I like Yaimiko. Definitely has it for Raiden for sure. Raiden not reciprocated. I don't think. I think she's into us. I think that she's into our character for the most part.
Yeah.
Which I guess, granted, on like who you play, I guess that also makes her gay though as well. If
True. Yeah. If you're
that's a good point. Yeah. Same with Ayaka then at that point too.
In the forest.
Because she has it hard.
some of the hangouts too. Did you do Noelle and Barbara's hangout?
I mean, yes, but it was so long ago.
Like Noelle, you practically like go on a date, and you can even like mention like, oh, hey, like it's not like relationship like inducing, but it's almost like, hey, like we're on a date or something like that. It's like I honestly felt like I was doing a Genshin dating sim.
Fair enough. I do really enjoy the Lisa Jean one a lot. That one I think is probably my favorite. Ningguang Beidou, I don't see it.
It's so apparent.
No, I don't see it at all.
Get out of the
Am
get
I
out
missing
of the way.
something?
Get out of this. Yes, you are missing everything. Get out of this podcast.
I'll have to like someone listening tag me in the Discord and like please give me an explanation of why this is a thing.
So, sometime tonight I'm going to tag you in general, and it's going to be their interactions and what they say to each other during not the Iridori festival, it's the Lantern Rite festival this past year with Yunjin and Kuching. Oh, it's like I feel like I'm not that oblivious. I feel like I would have clocked it. You missed it.
Okay.
I clocked it so hard. I was just like, "Oh, damn, really?" Like that was my reaction.
All right, well, skipping past that part, I will say, so for the Dea thing, like I definitely think that, I mean, she herself admits that she will go to the highest bidder. Like she has literally said that. Now, what she says and what she does, I agree, like two different things sometimes. Now, the whole selling of the sword thing, that turned me around on her a little bit, right? So I was like, okay, she is like, there's things that she will put above money in some cases, but she's definitely, for the most part, unless you are a very close friend and or lover, it seems like she might, you know, bend the rules for you. So yeah, I think we're both right there.
But thank you for that review. I love that review. I've been waiting to read that for a while now, and I didn't because we were so backed up with our international reviews, but great review. Thank you. I love that. It was super long.
We should just do a special episode where we just go through the relationships of in the game.
We could do that, yeah. If you guys want to leave a 5-star review, every single one helps. It helps, you know, other people find the show easily, helps open up some opportunities for us to do more things, you know, the higher our ratings are. So if you like the show, leave us a review. We'll read on the show. We have one that we need to read, but we're not going to have enough time for that. We'll save that for next week, where we're going to read it in a character's voice.
Fun.
Yeah, I think your voice is a little too deep for this one. I already did some practice runs of it, and I was just like cringing the whole time.
I don't think it's going to sound good no matter what from either of us, but I definitely think that it would be even worse with me.
Yeah. Every review helps. You can leave those reviews in Apple Podcasts. That way we can read them off. And honestly, if you follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, I started uploading these episodes to YouTube. So hopefully if you guys go on YouTube, you can check those out. I'm sure I'll probably start doing something more with YouTube, but following us or talking to us on any of our socials definitely helps as well. So if you guys are interested in that, you can help support the show that way as well. All right, on to the news. Not a whole lot. We literally only have one piece of news that I wanted to cover, and it's just the events preview for Phase 2, which is now live. Now, the first one is already going on. It is the Path of Gleaming Jade, the daily login event, and since the update came like in the middle of the day, at least in the US, or probably like late in the day in the US, we're already on like day 2, but I think Asia server may be on day 3 now. But this is the Path of Gleaming Jade daily login event. Over 7 days, you can earn up to 10 intertwined fates for the limited banners or the weapon banner, Mystic Enhancement Ore, Mora, and Hero's Wit. I was really sad that they didn't have Fragile Resin in here.
Yeah.
To be eligible for this, you do have to be Adventure Rank 5 or above. And note that, you know, by the time this episode goes live, we'll be on day 3 or 4. But then half of that will be over. So make sure you guys are logging in, because once you miss that day, that's it. You're not gonna get the rewards. I'm not sure. I would assume that if you miss day 1 and day 3, you can only claim day 4, because that would be a shame if they did it where if you miss day 1 and you, like, let's say you went to go claim on day 2, but you had to claim day 1, you'd miss out on those 5 fates at the end. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm not really sure how that works, because I made sure that like I claimed mine, but yeah, make sure you guys log in and don't miss that. We have 2 event wishes. We have Albedo's rerun, and we have Nilo's first banner. And they are alongside Beidou, Barbara, and Shangling. You pulling for Nilu at all? I'm pretty sure you're not.
No, not at all.
I was building pity for her. But I think I got to like 35. I C6'd Beidou. I think I need one more Barbara constellation. So,
wow, yeah. You need a Barbara constellation.
Man. I do, yeah. I'm pretty sure I do, yeah. We have the weapon banner, Key of Kajnasut, which would be Nilu's weapon, and we have Primordial Jade Cutter as well. And then we have some new 4-star weapons. We have Sipho's Moonlight, which is the sword, and are all these? Is Wandering Evenstar the catalyst? Is that new?
I think so.
I think it is new.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing that one. And those are alongside Rain Slasher, which is the Claymore, Dragonsbane Polearm, and the Sacrificial Bow. So if you guys are interested in that, obviously both those event banners, basically those banners go to the end of the update, which would be till November 1st.
Right.
We have the Wind Chaser event. I believe this starts in just as soon as this podcast goes live, honestly. During the event, you can complete the challenges in Gale zones within the time limit and complete specified requirements to obtain rewards such as Prima Gems, Hero's Wit, talent, level up materials. This is basically a domain challenge that includes gliding, basically. It's like a obstacle course. You do need to be adventure rank 20 or above to take part in this event. We have the Star Seekers Sojourn event, where we will search for mysterious future stars. You'll complete challenges to find these stars to help the Commissioner Giver fulfill her wish. You can obtain Prima Gems, Hero's Wit, and Talent level up materials. To do this, you do need to do Chapter 3, Act 1 through Mists of Smoke and Forest Dark. That is the first act when you arrive in Sumeru. You do need to be adventure rank 30 or above to do that as well.
Right.
That's it for literal events, like timed events. And then we also have Nihlu's Story Quest, which I still need to do Sinos. But yeah, Nihlu's Story Quest is now here. You can do that. You do need to be adventure rank 40 or above to complete that. You need to make sure that you finish Act 2 of the Sumeru Archon quest to take part in that. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot going on in Phase 2, but... All right. I wanted to talk just a little bit, just give our quick thoughts on the Of Ballads and Brews event, because we didn't really talk about it all that much. I honestly thought we'd get a little bit more. I felt like all we really got was like some of the interactions that Razor has throughout his like daily life.
Yeah.
Honestly, I thought we got a little bit more than we did even Diluc's event, but
yeah, this one same thing for me. Like I definitely felt like it was amped up to be a little bit more than it actually was. Actually, a lot more than it actually is. I did appreciate the cutscene, like the big long cutscene we got at the beginning. Like that was cool and nice and whimsical and everything. And you have the whole thing with his parents and everything like that as well. I am still like not giving up on this whole Sino and Razor thing are related though.
Yeah, the parallels are just so obvious.
Exactly. It has to be something. Like even down to their constellations. Like I don't understand it. There has to be something there. I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see about that. But overall, it was it was okay. The event itself okay. The cutscene was great, or the long one. And so yeah, that was kind of it. It was I wish that they would put a lot more into events like this though.
Yeah. Did you cry to the cutscene? No.
No, didn't give me enough.
My eyes were watering.
I certainly will. Like I have cried. I have no problem admitting I've cried tons of times through I don't know if I've cried at all for Genshin, but certainly during animes I do it all the time. So but I'm trying to remember a moment if I've done it for Genshin. What are some of the really sad moments in Genshin? Do you remember? I can't recall like any big ones. Oh, the Rex. I don't think I cried, but I remember I was like, I was emotional with whenever Rex Lapis saved Chao in the cave. Yeah,
I can't remember if I cried to that, but I think I might have.
Yeah, I was certainly emotional. So
yeah, I think I did that. It's usually only when they do like the really beautiful, like high rendered cutscenes that I usually like end up crying.
Right. Yeah,
that's
are
when they
usually the weakness
do like the most
too,
emotionally and like powering like things. I just can't remember off the top of my head like any of them, to be honest.
Okay, fair enough.
Most of them are just like, holy crap, that was awesome. Like Kazuha controlling the Electrovision for like a short moment was really cool.
Right.
I think, I don't know. The Jade Chamber, I can't think, like, maybe that one?
Nah, there wasn't enough there for that. Oh, you're talking about, like, whenever, like, you had to fight the monster and everything?
Yeah, Osile.
Okay, yes. That one, maybe. I don't remember well enough now, but that one was a possibility for me, yeah.
Yeah, and I, like, fell for Shenhe in that moment when she just, like,
Same.
when she runs and dude, that cutscene I
That
could
was
watch
it.
over and over.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, I did enjoy the event.
Mm-hmm.
The business portion of the event where you run the stall, a little bit underwhelming. I do like that we got a bunch of furnishings for the teapot from it,
Yeah.
but a little bit underwhelming. I thought it was going to be something different. I kind of wanted like those like really old like flash games you could get on like the computer where like you make a plate of food and then you swipe it when it's done.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of those.
Right.
But I did like the cutscene. Every time they do like a cop out where the people, like the characters in Genshin, their parents or their siblings are like just like random like monsters, that kind of like irks me a little bit.
Right.
Like I want them to have like a more permanent role, but I really did like how you can kind of like tie, like Rosaria is like Razor's sister, even if they're like stepsisters or step siblings. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like how we planted the bottle under the tree.
That was nice. Yeah.
And now it's still there. So I do like that. That means that we're going to come back to it eventually.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Yeah, there was definitely like, now that we talked about like looking back, there was definitely some more fun things than I remembered, but it still overall was a little underwhelming, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Other than that, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Act 4 of the new Archon quest, and then we're going to wrap up the show. So we open up into the new act. Basically, we are trying to help Isak, who is a kid in Aru village, find his grandpa. His grandpa is a mad scholar, quote unquote, but the mad scholars are scholars that were basically banished from Sumeru city, and they come the desert because the Akademiya no longer wants them. And these mad scholars, quote unquote, have been known to save the village, where they kind of like take upon this like green aura, and it's kind of like rumored that they help out. But basically, Isak's grandpa is missing, and we're tasked to find him. So we team up with Sino, and we ask some locals nearby. And while we're talking to some of the locals to figure out, if they have heard or seen anything about these mad scholars, Sino hears that a conversation going on. And we kind of eavesdrop, and we find out that from their conversation that, more mad scholars are showing up around the same time that the Scarlet King fell.
Mm-hmm.
And so he heard that the mad scholars were being used as sacrifices to bring the Scarlet King back. Sino just completely interrupts them, demands that they repeat everything, and he even goes as far as taking his burst form to kind of intimidate them, which I thought was pretty cool.
Very cool.
One of the NPCs basically mentions the radicals, and they can't wait for the resurrection of King Deshret to get back at Sumeru City and the Akademiya. And they kind of basically solidify this feud between the desert and the city. So we go to Isak's grandpa's house to get some more intel. And on the way there, Tanjiro, the traveler, picks up the scent that some of the incense that made him pass out from when we first arrived at Sumeru City.
Mm-hmm.
He picks up that scent and mentions that Tonari helped us out. And, despite not working well in a team composition, Sino reveals that he and Tonari are friends. The group kind of search for more clues, and Sino kind of deduces that someone's using the incense to lure away Isak's grandpa. So we go back to the village. We talk with Candace before searching for the mad scholars. And back there, we talk to Dea and Candace. And they mention that Alhaitha must have left to research on his own, so, he's being sus as normal. Dea has a few tips, basically saying that she knows the leader of the radicals, Delavar, and while she does, someone is kind of lurking around the corner. Dea mentions that 3 names of people who are kind of broke and they want to resurrect King Deshret to get back at the Akademiya. And she also mentions that she doesn't have any real fighting skills, which is like a one-off thing, but it kind of ties in later.
Yeah. Well, that makes you think like, whoa, why did she say that? So, yeah.
So because we're outsiders to the village and we stick out like a sore thumb, Dea wants us to leave so we can help her do her part in investigating properly. And Sino stays back in Aru village while we go to Caravan Rabat, where Dea wants us to go to talk to these radical leaders. On the way there, Dea kind of explains how the Wall of Samuel, which is that big wall that kind of looks like a dead tree, was said to be created to keep sandstorms away, but really it's to keep desert dwellers away from the foresty part of Sumeru.
Mm-hmm.
So she says that. She also explains that Sataria, who is the researcher we forced to go insane with Kusanali, was basically like a 1 in a million pick from the Akademiya of people from the desert, which kind of shows like how detrimental she was to the previous act when we had to basically convince her to come back to the desert so that we could overthrow the Akademiya. But she probably is like literally the only desert dweller that is in the Akademiya still.
Mm-hmm.
So we go to a tavern and we meet Zaki, who is a drinking buddy of Dea's. We tell him that we want to meet with Delavar basically, and he agrees to bring us to him. After that, we go to that area in the desert. We find out that it's a trap, and Zaki is surprised because he heard that Dea wasn't strong, which was basically the thing that she said while that person was eavesdropping back in our village. And then basically Dea kicks his ass. But yeah, so that's pretty much why she said, oh, like, I'm not that strong. I'm just a low merc.
Yep.
Basically to throw him off because she knew that we would get trapped. At this point, I'm just like, wow, Dea is awesome, because not the same Dea that I thought. I judged Dea's book by her cover, basically.
Yeah, she definitely has. I mean, she doesn't have like way more to her yet, but she definitely surprised me a bit, I would say. Yeah.
At this point, you mean?
Yeah, so far. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. Dea does mention that she really doesn't have anything against the Dendro Archon, but highly dislikes the Akademiya. And we bring the radicals that we just defeated back to Candace. We go inside. Candace kind of gives those 3 men like a good scolding. And Zaki reveals that a mysterious man went to the tavern and spread rumors of the village keepers being sacrifices to the Scarlet King, and that's kind of how they got tied up in that.
Mm-hmm.
Sino starts to like interrogate them by giving them strikes. Like he gives them 1 strike. They don't give him an answer that he likes. He gives them a 2nd strike.
Mm-hmm.
And they end up telling the truth, basically saying that the mysterious man picks up the village keepers after they're lured away. And then Sino knocks them literally all out anyway.
Yeah.
Which was funny, but he does that so that they can't hear Uncle Anpu's thoughts.
Yeah.
Uncle Anpu basically mentions that someone from the Akademiya used to ask for the village keepers, but he would turn them back. Which is kind of funny because the Akademiya are the people who sent these mad scholars because they didn't want to deal with them basically to the village.
Right.
And now they're kind of asking for them back.
Yeah.
Right. Which doesn't make any sense. So.
Or does it? Wink, wink.
Wink, wink, yes. We go outside. We find Al-Haytham. He's reading a book. He's being sassy to Paimon.
Of course.
And Paimon embarrasses herself as always.
As is tradition, yeah.
Al-Haytham says he is surprised that we teamed up with Sino, and then round 2 of the pissing match begins. Al-Haytham basically says we can learn new info from someone we've already talked about, and he's talking about Shari, who is one of the locals we talked about at the beginning of the quest.
Mm-hmm.
And basically he says if you earn her trust, she will open up to you. But basically she's afraid, and she doesn't want to basically put a target on her back.
Yeah.
So she mentions that the hospital nearby the village has been abandoned.
Mm-hmm.
And that she does hear crying at night sometimes. So we go there to see if we can figure anything out. At the hospital, we find some notes basically talking about some of the physicians and the people that were there. I was very concerned that some of the physicians' names were redacted.
Mm-hmm.
Did you look at any of the notes on the walls of the hospital?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so some of the physicians' names are there, and then there's some that are like redacted. They're just like a white bar.
Huh.
So I'm thinking that, hospital, it could be Dottore.
Maybe.
So that was my thought, but yeah, there's literally nothing in there that basically points to either like him or Baiju, who is like the only other like doctor. We do hear a person crying from inside, and it is Razak, who is a senior of Alhaitham's. He kind of identifies him very quickly. And we note that he is experiencing the same symptoms of the eremite that we fought back in Port Ormos in the first act. And from this, Alhaitham basically deduces that the Akademiya spread a false rumor about the Scarlet King's resurrection to get the Aru village people to gather up these mad scholars without them knowing that's exactly what the Akademiya wants. And they do this because, if a missing person is basically a dead person, and then they're basically, they're dead, so no one's going to ask questions then.
Right.
And then they're going to extract their knowledge into the stored capsules. And then they're going to use this knowledge to help Scaramouche turn into a god.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, because the village keepers, or mad scholars, we've kind of already figured out that, Kusanali is possessing them and then saving parts of Sumeru when they're in trouble. We kind of already figure out that, the Akademiya clearly knows that, and that's why they're extracting their canned knowledge.
Mm-hmm. This is around the part where I have not been yet, so from now on,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
You cool with going into it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm fine with it.
I'm excited because I really want you to see this, one of these parts, or two of them, really. So, afterwards, we take Razak back to Aru village, and we try to figure out how the Akademiya knew we were coming, because they clearly left that hospital. Basically, we determined that the Akademiya knows our whereabouts, and we're trying to figure this out. And Candace kind of proposes that one of us is a mole, and that's when round 3 of the pissing match between Sino and Alhaitham begins.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But Alhaitham, they basically are trying to figure out who's the mole.
Right.
Obviously, they start pointing fingers, but Alhaitham tells Sino that he's being monitored by the Akademiya, and that's why they know our moves. So and Alhaitham says that he has seen info about the General Mahamatra, his whereabouts, where he goes, all that stuff. Since he's the scribe, he's seen this information where Sino has not seen it. And he reveals this to Sino, and Sino's like, oh, it's my fault. Like, I let them get away because I'm being monitored.
Right.
So we follow Sino, we leave. Basically, we use that information to say, okay, well, if we know that they know where we're going, then we can figure out where they are.
Right.
Basically, reverse psychology.
Right.
And Dea leaves without saying anything, which is kind of weird. And it clearly shows that she just walks away. But we follow Sino to retrace his steps, and we find an Akademiyan device that looks like a headpiece that's buried in the sand. And we decide that, these are pretty much used to extract knowledge into the capsules. We continue to explore, and we find Dea talking to some eremites. The person that she's talking to is Rahman, and it appears that she's kind of betraying the village.
And
Paimon pretty much calls her out, and she literally tells Paimon to shut up, which is funny. Dea is trying to convince Rahman that turning the scholars into the Akademiya will not work. He's trying to basically barter with them. Sino kind of tells him, hey, that's not going to work. And Alhaitham proposes that, hey, why don't you turn me into the Akademiya because I'm their scribe? That'll work a lot better. And Rahman doesn't trust him. So Dea literally bets her right arm on the fact that they can trust Alhaitham. So Rahman's like, sure, cut off her arm. And at this point, I was just like, oh my God, they're literally going to just take her arm off.
Right.
because I thought this whole time that her arm was mechanical, but I was wrong. They were literally going to cut it off.
Yeah, I know you were wrong.
So I'm really upset about that. Yeah. Dea instantly lost points for that, even though she was willing to lose an arm. So right before they're about to cut off Dea's arm, Rahman orders his men to stop and basically says, "Hey, I didn't think you'd go along with it, but obviously I can trust you." So we decide to go back, we'll rest, and then we'll make the swap tomorrow between Al-Haytham and the village keepers. The next day, we go back to the middle of the desert. We go a little bit past the mausoleum to kind of give you an idea of where the location is, to exchange Al-Haytham for the village keepers.
Mm-hmm.
And Rahman only brings back one, which is Isak's grandpa. And Isak is there with us, by the way.
Right.
We trust that Isak is going to stay safe. And yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Yeah, bring a kid to a hostage situation. That's fine.
That's always a good idea, yeah.
Yeah. So Dea instantly gets pissed off because Rahman kind of goes back on his word because we're trading Al-Haytham for all the village keepers, but he only brings back one. And Dea attacks Rahman like furiously, and it's a pretty good cutscene of her like attacking him.
Mm-hmm.
And she like literally like it takes her claymore out. She pins him to the ground. It's very reminiscent to when we see Diluc fighting in that cutscene where he fights the Abyss for a little bit.
Right.
It's really good.
Okay.
At this point, I have like total respect for Dea.
Okay.
Abruptly, an earthquake begins, and Isak's grandpa becomes Dendro Flash and grabs Isak. So I say Dendro Flash as a joke, but he literally like has this green aura around him because he's being controlled by Kusanali, and he literally like bolts over. Like old man could not go this fast unless he was the Flash. Bolts over, grabs Isak. And then a huge green dome covers everybody as the ground underneath the sand kind of collapses, and we drop down into like a sand underground in the sand dune. So under the ground, we find the newly discovered structure left by King Deshret, and we decide to go in. And when we go in, it's not like all the other ruins that we've kind of seen. It's like live with vegetation, like. It's clearly been touched by the Dendro Archon.
Right.
After exploring that for a little bit, we find a really beautiful pink, purple, and blue tree. It's not Irminsul, but there is a tomb of the priest for the Scarlet King, and Al-Haytham extracts knowledge from a Scarlet King device in that room and projects it for everyone to see, and we get like one of those animated cutscenes, kind of like the ones that we get every time the Battle Pass renews. I don't know if that helps. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So basically, in this projection, it reveals that Greater Lord Rukkhadevata and the Scarlet King were never enemies at all.
Mm-hmm.
They were actually friends.
Okay.
And that the Scarlet King accidentally brought the forbidden knowledge to Sumeru, which is kind of the thing that created Elazar, I'm pretty sure, because it talks about how after the forbidden knowledge was brought, they, like some of the citizens of Sumeru had like the gray scales, they got sick. So I'm pretty sure that was the start of Elazar.
Mm-hmm.
And what ultimately drove the scholars to become mad.
Okay.
Greater Lord Rukkhadevata was the one who used all of her power to basically help the Scarlet King after he already sacrificed himself to get rid of this forbidden knowledge. The Scarlet King sacrificed himself to save Sumeru City, or basically Sumeru as a whole. And since that didn't really work, Greater Lord Rukkhadevata used up all of her power to save them, and she was kind of turned into the embodiment of a small child. So my theory on Dea having a metal arm, wrong. My theory of Greater Lord Rukkhadevata and Lesser Lord Kusanali being the same person, totally right. So,
all right, you got that one. 1 point for you.
Yeah. And so basically Rahman can't really accept this.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually he comes back to his senses. We decide to leave, and it's funny because when we leave, Sino kind of stays back and almost like pays respects to the priest's tomb.
Mm-hmm.
In that cutscene that I was talking about, though, we see a priest who looks very similar to Sino. So, yeah, very interesting. But it's funny that like after that cutscene, he kind of stays back a little bit and kind of like, it looks like he pays his respects. So,
right.
when we go back, we we go back to the Eremite hideout. Rahman takes us to 2 Akademiya members who were luring the village keepers to abduct them. So everything's kind of coming full circle now. And we interrogate them, and they tell us that someone called the Doctor came to the Akademiya with a gnosis to study it.
Mm-hmm.
And we also learn that they created a divine vessel in the form of some humanoid puppet, and they were indeed behind the dream harvesting of the samsara, and they extracted power from the gnosis to create a divine core. And that all they needed was divine knowledge from respective knowledge capsules, which they were getting from the mad scholars. So at this point, it sounds like Dottore is either extracting power from a gnosis to create a divine core because he's helping Scaramouche become a god. Yeah. So that's like it's kind of confusing because, and it could go either way. It could be, Dottore came to the Akademiya to study the gnosis for the harbingers, or he's helping Scaramouche. He's helping Scaramouche. So I don't really know what's going on. It could literally go either way.
Right. I would say I would be on the side of him not helping Scaramouche, but we'll have to see.
Yeah. But the fact that he used it to create a divine core and that the Akademiya it's just really weird.
I could see him using that for his own purposes later.
I could see it too, yeah. But we'll have to see. I'm hoping that in the next act, in the new update for 3.2, we'll probably see a little bit more of that. But basically, we go back to Aru Village at that point, and the group, Dea, Candace, Sino, Al-Haytham, we're all basically making a plan to stop the sages. That's kind of it for the act. It was action-packed at the end with some useful information, but ultimately it's a lot of running around, honestly, to figure out what actually is going on with the Akademiya. So now we know.
It was a pretty crazy act. I definitely feel like I was not... I feel like my PlayStation lied to me whenever it told me I was 80% of the way through it.
Yeah, if you're back at the haunted place, it's not a whole lot.
No, I'm past the haunted place a bit, but, it's certainly more recent than the end of the act. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Like, it's closer to the end to that than the end of the act, so...
Right.
Yeah. But anyways, really good act, though, for sure.
Yeah. All right. You ready for Wish of the Week?
Let's do it. All right. I got mine up. I'm just pulling on normal. I have another Fate ready to go.
Yep.
So here we go. Hoping for blue. I was hoping for at least a purple, 4-star, but no.
No, just a blue?
Yep.
All right, let's see here. I am going to pull on Nilu's banner. I have, I think, enough for 2 pulls, so I'll do 2 pulls. I'm due for a 4-star pretty soon. Blue. And I'm just trying to build pity. If I get her early, I get her early. But I'm probably going to stop around 40. Yeah, I got 2 blues. Not mad. That just means that saving more for the archon.
Yeah, I would be happier with that than pulling her, so.
Yeah. Nothing good. Hopefully next week we'll have something better. Question of the week. Geez, the question of the week is what really draws our episodes to be super long.
Yeah, we might, especially since I think I know the next one coming up. And I think we might want to save that one, because that one's definitely going to be a big discussion.
Whoa. Is it food related?
I think it's the D&D one, isn't it?
Oh, I've been jumping around because the question of the week channel has been like a hot mess.
Yeah.
But Emerald in our Discord said, I'm about to start another fight. Candy corn, yes or no?
Candy corn, yes or no?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm on the side of candy corn. Yeah, I like candy corn. I think it absolutely requires a certain mood and time of year, but I'm good on candy corn.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm team candy corn there.
I'm team candy corn in the trash.
Are you serious?
Yeah, candy corn is disgusting.
Who hurt you when you were little? Like, I don't.
If I wanted to eat candy corn at any time of the year, I would just put sugar on a candle and eat it.
What? That doesn't even. It doesn't even.
Yeah.
Like, this was actually like candy corn is actually like delicious. Like,
It's
I think
disgusting.
it's very like I associate it only with some kind of festivity, but like it is great. I mean, it's not like the best candy ever, but it certainly is like a treat, I would say. It's not trash. You got something wrong with you. You got to go get it checked out, man.
No. Superior holiday candy is nonpareils.
Not well. Okay, I will 100%. I think that's actually probably my favorite. White chocolate nonpareils are amazing. So I'm not going to argue with you on that. That is better, but it's certainly like it doesn't kick candy corn out to the trash though. No way.
Yes, it does.
Let me ask you this: what about circus peanuts?
I haven't had circus peanuts.
You know what I'm talking about though, right? Like the
Yeah.
kind of aerated, sugary orange things. Yeah.
That doesn't sound good to me.
It actually like it's kind of along the same lines, but I don't like them as much as I do candy corn, I'd say. But but I feel like that definitely falls into one of those more controversial candy roles. So
Fair enough.
So one of these days we have to get you to eat that as just to kind of see what your thoughts are on it.
On a circus peanut?
On circus peanuts, yeah.
All right. I'll try it if I
next time you go to the store. Yeah, try to find
I'll look
one.
for some and I'll buy them and then I'll have one on the podcast and I'll
there you go. Yeah, I want a live action telling of
Let's do it.
your take on it. Yeah.
Yeah. So when someone asked that in the question of the week, I put, where I like my candy corn, and it was a Parks and Rec gif of him throwing a computer in the trash can. So.
Oh, that's funny. I mean, wrong ultimately, but yeah, funny.
Before we end our show, I'd like to thank our patrons. Thank you to our Favonius Night tiers for supporting us, which would be Soupy. Thank you very much. And thank you, Neku, our only Adeptus tier right now. Very appreciated. Thank you guys for supporting the podcast. It means a lot. If you guys want to support the podcast, you can go to patreon.com/HoyoCast. We have a bunch of different tiers where you can earn a bunch of awesome goodies and bonus content for you guys to consume. 2 bonus episodes a week, and they're really good. I enjoy doing the bonus episodes a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Other than that, Pharaoh, where can they find you?
You guys can always check me out on Chronicles of Runeterra. It's an arcane-based League of Legends pod. And, of course, you can find me here and find me on the Discord over here as well.
Awesome. If you guys want to get a hold of the show, Twitter, Instagram, all at HoyoCast. We're also on Discord, discord.me/theresidents, where you can talk with our community. You can get some help in the game, talk everything related to Genshin, fight about candy corn, fight about mayo. You can fight about whether pineapple goes on pizza.
Pineapple on pizza, yeah, it was another contentious one.
Yeah, that was a big one. All that stuff in the Discord. It's a fun time. Other than that, when we come back next week, I think we're going to be talking about probably the live stream program, I would think.
Yeah.
Which will be exciting because then we get to see everything that's coming in 3.2. And I think that's about it.
Yep.
Other than that, enjoy your week, enjoy the episode, and we'll talk to you guys next week.